Welcome back to Born Warriors Tactical Firearms. Today we're going to disassemble, reassemble, and clean a PSA Dagger compact 9mm pistol. First thing we're going to do is ensure that there's no round in the chamber by pulling up a receiver to the rear, locking it in place, checking that there's no round in the chamber, and also physically dropping the magazine, put it to the side. Whilst I have it in this configuration, I'm going to go ahead and take the extended barrel nut off, or barrel screw. Take it off, I'm going to put it to the side. Whilst it's in battery, set that to the side. I'm going to send it forward, squeeze the trigger, and at this point, I'm going to go ahead and pull it right about a 1/4 inch back. And the slide locks on here, I'm going to pull them down. And what this does is take the fire pin out of battery as well. So the slide lock levers on here on both sides with my thumb and index finger, I'm going to pull it down and send the barrel forward. Slide it off. Frame, put to the side. And the spring and guide rod assembly, just going to pull out. Set that to the side. And the barrel itself, since I took the extended barrel screw off, I can pull this out now. It may take some fidgeting around. Take that out. Knowing what I would do when I take it down to clean, if it's dirty, you're going to utilize your brush. Put a little lube on there. Just take your time, brush it off real good. Last thing I'm going to do is the sight, because my hand's going to be pretty much all over this firearm. And I'm going to go ahead and clean the rails and the trails up in here, ensuring that I get all dirt, dust, and debris out. And 1 second with some rags, I'm gonna wipe it down. That's the first thing I want to do before I start lubing it and oiling it. Once I get it brushed off, you can get patches to clean, or you can get you a t-shirt, clean it and wipe it down real good. And this is just a quick cleaning. You don't have to, spend all day cleaning it if you hadn't fired that much. When you fired about 500 rounds, you want to do a thorough cleaning. And your manual would actually tell you how far you have to take this firearm apart to do a deep cleaning. So what I'm doing right now is actually wiping a lot of the excess oil off that was on here, and a lot of the gunpowder. So once I get it wiped down good, like I said, this is not a deep clean. It's just cleaning it to ensure that it fires properly. The lube that I'm going to be using on this is gun butter. I like this. It's for high friction and cold weather. Runs really good on the Dagger. Hadn't had any issues with lubing it and cleaning it. So overall, I'm going to give it a general wipe down to make sure I got all the dust and cranny and cracks clean. And do a thorough inspection of your points, your barrel nuts, and your barrels itself, as far as the pins go. Ensure that they're in there and they're pretty much flush. If they're not flush, make them flush. Now in this, when you have the pins in here, they are actually dowel pins. So when you see that little gaping hole, don't freak out. That's just a design that PSA Armory goes with. So good wipe down. You don't want to put too much oil on this polymer, because as far as the actual grips go, you want to still have that grip. You don't want to get it too muggy. And since this is flat dark earth, you constantly oil it, and it get cosmetic wise, it takes away from the appearance. The barrel, the same thing, give it a good wipe down. And when we get ready to plunge the tube, this is pretty much all you need. I give it a, with the bore brush, just go ahead and swipe it out. You know, a lot of people said, you know, the way the round come out, that's how you want to do it. Just go ahead and run it a few times, a little light oil. Inspect your ring. If you got a threaded barrel, inspect it to make sure that your packaging or O-ring is not nicked or cracked. This is in good shape. Just make sure that it's well back, seated on the barrel itself. It should be flushed on that barrel, not cutting in the threads. So when you do that, we're going to go ahead and punch the tube out. And what I mean by punch the tube, you're going to get you a cleaning patch. And you're going to run that through there a couple of times. And normally what you want to do is get a lot of the carbs out by, you can keep this on if you like to, or you can take it off. But this is my preference, just to keep it on, see what it's going to come out with by plunging it. You can see that. Plunge it straight through here. A few times, got a little on there. And as you go, just take it out, put another one on here. I'm gonna take this off since that wasn't that much, because some of that could be actually coming from this brush. Not that much lube on there. Put another pad in there and bring it through. Just plunge it. Just a little, but it's getting there. Same thing. So what you want to do in general is just give your firearm a good overlook to ensure that there's nothing loose, there's nothing crack, you don't have any damage. Okay, that's clean. Put that aside. And I'm going to go ahead and just inspect the upper receiver just to make sure that it's good. And if you want to, the extractor itself, you can, you know, by pushing that in, you can see that your extractor, let me go ahead and push it here. You probably won't see that much of it. And I don't have a tool, but what I'm going to do is just push it with this. There you go. If you can see that, it grabs the, it's going to grab the bullet. Just make sure it works. There you go, light movement, that's good. You don't have to do that. You're going to test fire it anyway. And just make sure that you get all the debris out. Now I'm going to oil and lube this up before I'm going to look at the guide rod to make sure that there's no cracks in the spring. It's in one piece. Not that much oil on it. I really don't recommend oiling this piece because there's a spring tension on it. You want those springs to move freely, so you don't need to add anything on there. And if your manual states that put oil on there, follow the manual. Always follow your manual. So all of this is clean. So I'm gonna get the butter, gun butter, and this is nice to have. Is, you know, as you see, it got a little pin on it, so you can cup it. Take it with you, put it in one of your little bag compartments, and lasts a long time. So lubing this firearm, the key points, you can go back to, and look in your manual, as I'm always alluding to, just lightly oil the contact points. Lock and block. Because anything that's going to travel and cause friction, those are the areas you want to hit. But you don't have to. Here's a good place right here. Just want to just put enough on there so when it slides back and forth, there's no friction, no heavy weight on there. Here in the lock and block area, the same thing. It's going to slide in there just a little. And here, I'm just going to use one of the pads and just rub it, lightly rub it in here. So that way, I'm getting a little more lube and all around in that portion. Now the rails, inside of the rails, again, just lightly lube it. You don't have to have a straight line of lube in there, because once it starts going back and forth, it's going to do that. And this will help with the friction to reduce metal to metal and keeping this chamber sliding back and forth. So your points, again, just enough to keep it sliding back and forth. The barrel itself, contact area here, you can see where it's wearing at. So I'm going to put a light lube on here, and I normally follow, again, where it's going to make friction at. Don't need that much. It'll rub in. So I got that lube. What I'm going to do is just, for the barrel itself, just put a little speckle on there. Wipe it in. And I'm going to get ready to reassemble this. Got everything lubed that needs to be lubed. So first things first, before I do that, you can actually use this. It's a silicone cloth, and it actually helps, you know, as far as putting a light coat of protective finish on your barrel or on the firearm itself. You can see that, just a light silicone coat. And I don't want to take that silicone, the oil, and I don't want to put it that much in my rag. So I'm going to re-lube that. Use my finger for that. Just enough, again, to keep friction, you know, metal to metal, from pending your slide, so it can go in and out of battery without any issues. So first, putting the barrel assembly back in, slide it forward. Now this goes in the larger portion of the guide rod. It's going to sit inside that barrel on that retainer right there. So push this in. Make sure you actually have it seated in the second. It's two. I'm going to see if I can get close to show you. There's two little partitions in here, the top and the lower piece. That's what that lower partition is where you want that guide rod to sit in. So ensure that it's in there. Get that little lint out. Come on. Got that little lint out, so that's great. Now when putting it on the frame itself, it's only one way for it to go on. You just slide it on there, pull it all the way back until it locks. Before I do anything else, I'm going to go ahead and put this barrel thread on here. And when you're putting this on, glove is not going to tighten the way you need it tight. So you're going to probably have to either take off the glove or wait till you get through with everything. And it's clean, so you can actually take off your glove. I'm just going to use this cloth to tighten it down a little bit. And again, with the silicone, you see the finish it put on here? Make it look like new again. I love these. Hops, gun, and real silicone cloth. If you're interested in buying one of these for your firearm, lasts a long time too. So what I'm going to do now is go ahead and pull the firearm to the rear. Let it go. Pull the trigger back. Listen to that metallic click. Now I'm going to hold it back. Pull it back again, let it travel, let it go, and listen to the reset click. Hear that? So, firearm is ready to fire. It's operational, ready to fire. Let you listen to that click again, charge it. There you go. That's all to it. Take care of your firearm, and the firearm will take care of you. And one other thing I have to do before I conclude this is, like I was saying, I say my sight red dot for last, because the oil and stuff that I had on my gloves and my hand just moving around with it, just give it a good cleaning, and also look at it to make sure that the barrel nuts that you have in there are tight and they're not loose. Look for any kind of cracks and anything that can warrant that your sight probably need to be replaced. Just give it a good look to make sure that you got all the appropriate screws in there that's in there, and from there your firearm again is ready to be utilized. Take that out, let it slide forward. Now it's cleaning up my mess, putting the cover back on it. That concludes my operation on cleaning your firearm. Clean and disassemble, reassemble. Until the next time, I see you on the range.